Good morning, traders. Please like my video if you get a chance. Retweet me on X if you get a chance. It's going to be 9662C. And I appreciate those comments below, especially if you're seeing something that I'm not. Even if you're wanting to, if it's a more fairly popular stock, if you want to ask me questions about it or something like that, you just leave comments below. Like I have my core names, which I stick with, the Mag 7. That's pretty much what I stick with. But if you do have something that is very popular, like Palantir or Broadcom, I can do some analysis on that and get back with you on that if you're interested. Okay, guys. So basically, what I've got going on here, and first of all, I'm just going to turn all my indicators off. There you go. Okay. Keep it as clean as I possibly can here, guys. So, overnight, we got a gap up here, guys. Okay, and on SPY, the upside gaps have been satisfied. Okay, we're currently trying to decide whether we want to break out of this downtrend and re-enter Friday's trading zone first thing this morning. That's what they're trying to decide very early this morning. Okay, very important here. This is still purple, or this is still pink as indicating supply because we gapped up overnight and we have not validated that this is going to be new support yet because of the gap up overnight. So technically this is new supply until we prove otherwise. Okay. So, I try not to change those colors until the cash session actually tells me that that's actually going to become new demand at this price point. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Okay. Some other things. The structure itself is acting fairly bullish, especially the way we defended yesterday's lows. Uh, so this is actually starting to show up as more bullish structure here in the markets. And some main takeaways. Now, what I got marked out here. First of all, we're trading right inside of the Liberation Day high, Liberation Day low. Okay. Uh, so really, in that regard, we're kind of just trapped in between here. But we've already broken out above Liberation Day high on the Nasdaq, suggesting that this thing here is probably going to follow suit. Okay, we have not back tested this downtrend line. Okay, which could very well be in the cards. We have already back tested the downtrend line on the Nasdaq, so that's another thing we have to think about in the back of our minds here. Okay. Uh, so that's just a few little things here I did want to mention going forward here. Okay. I do have some lines on here while it's clear to see them. 2 week supply, 2 week demand, 2 week demand. So basically, last week we put in three volume distribution areas. Okay. And what's that mean? The three volume distribution areas. That's where I have to turn my market webs back on. Okay. And I have to go to the 1 hour or 2 hour, anything over 1 hour to 4 hour. It gives you the this right here. I'm showing you the daily web, the weekly webs. Weekly webs is marked over here. And if I just zoom into these 2 weeks here, and as you can clearly see, institutions, what they do, they don't trade the edges. Where the institutions are executing is where all the volume's at. Okay. And so us as traders, a lot of times we're trading the edges. Institutions are, because of the sheer volume that they're trading at a time, they actually, trade at the peaks. So what we know for a fact here, we had early on yet last week, we had a lot of volume coming in to SPY. We didn't know if it was going to be bullish or bearish. Ultimately, we resolved higher. Okay, with all the other indices. Okay, and then we created another area higher. Yeah, 2 areas higher. Actually, before the week was out, 2 more areas higher before the week was out. Okay, and so what that did, uh, uh, we didn't know if this is going to be supply here or supply here, but ultimately we spent a day and a half at this price point, and ultimately we broke out on Friday. Friday we broke out of this. So we only got 1 day of time up here into the supply that actually came in the first of this week and got rejected. Okay. So that's pretty much what's going on here. This is currently acting as resistance. There's a lot of sellers right here at the weekly 50 SMA. So that's pretty much what the market profile is telling us. These three different time frames. Now, what I want to point out here, so we had this lower distribution, which is really critical support for the week, but we didn't even come down to that. Instead, we came down, okay, and what we did was um, we came down to this prior support right here, okay, and we found support, okay, and why is that meaningful? So we found support right there, that very critical support right there, and right here at the bottom. So that suggests, and by finding that support right there, that and doing that for a second day, a second time, double bottom, that suggests that there is uh, uh, buyers here that are out winning against the sellers, the buyers at the higher distribution. Okay. Now, if I go down on the daily or on the 30-minute now, this is our daily webs. We'll zoom in here and what I was just talking about. Okay, guys, you see this volume profile right here? This here is where all that volume came in. A lot of times I would not identify that as support, but you see all the volume on, and on the wide volume. So, if it's a really thin volume high, or that I'm worried about that as not being supportive or as being a major thing. But this was a fairly wide volume distribution, here on the daily webs, suggesting that this could be a significant support. So, and that's exactly what happened. So we came right down to it yesterday and rallied off of it, and then into the close we did it again and rallied back off of it again. So now that is suggesting that we are accepting prices, even higher than what we started last week. That we're forming a good decent base here, and that the auction is probably going to migrate back up to Friday's highs, potentially back to Friday's highs. So let's be very careful of what's going on here. So I would think there's fairly good odds we're breaking out of this trend to the upside today, okay, given how the price action has played out here on the SPY, okay? Is there anything else I need to tell you about this? Can't think of anything. Nope. Nasdaq. Okay, guys, so I'm going to turn it back off again. That way it's a lot easier to see what's going on here on the Nasdaq. Similar situation, guys. We're gapping up this morning. See this gray area? That's our morning gap. We still got a unfilled gap above us here on the Nasdaq. Based on the trend, the Nasdaq is acting a little bit weaker. This is our little real warning that this might be a failed breakout, because we're a Nasdaq. The Nasdaq, you generally want to see it breaking out a trend, leading the pack, leading the charge for the breakout. Okay, that's why I don't want to get in too big of a hurry. We could very well be coming back down to fill at least part or all of this morning gap again, given the price action that I'm seeing right here, right now on the Qs. So I'd be very mindful of this. This, if it becomes new support, will turn to green early on in the session. But right now it is resistance, and I want to treat it as resistance kicking off the session. Okay, so be very mindful of this. Okay, a lot of times you see how this trend crossed this trend. A lot of times that can be a very important, with a double top, a very important rejection signal. So this is more of a bearish take on my analysis. So I don't. I'm just trying to give you. Of course, the cat comes in here. Give me a second here, guys. Okay, he shut up. Okay. So just be mindful of that. We do have a gap down here that has not been satisfied as well. Okay. But we did find that support right down here. Okay. Similar situation. We got three demand volume profile distributions. Okay. Two demand, one supply. Okay. And I put my market widths back on the 1 hour. Okay, guys, zoom in here real quick so we can do the analysis here. I do want to point out Liberation Day high. We are defending Liberation Day high on the Qs. We are trying to build a bull flag above Liberation Day high on the Qs. So I do want to be mindful of that. So if we were to come down, there is considerable support in thinking that we're probably not going to come down much more than 472 this week, barring some sort of bad news. Okay. And we do have the China news now that we're going to be sitting down and doing tariff discussions with China on Saturday. That in itself is probably going to keep a lot of the bears on the sidelines. So we'll see how it plays out and stuff. So basically, we did have massive volume here on the Qs down at this lower price point, which ultimately squeezed higher. So we have to say that, whoever is trading down here, the bulls won out here. So these people down here aren't going to really want to exit their positions until we start losing these areas down here. Okay. So basically, they're pretty much in for the long haul here until we would have to lose Liberation Day low for them to get really worried about their positioning. Okay, so let's be very mindful of that here on the Qs. So we got a double distribution. 1 second, this cat is going nuts. Yeah, we got coyotes here, and it's still dark, and I won't let the cat out. He's having a fit. Okay, to finish, so basically what I got going on here, we got the 50-week moving average SMA that rejected Friday. And same way with the S&Ps. And we're in this downtrend, like I said. But what I want to see the price action right here. This here is not really telling us yet that this is accepted as new support, in my opinion. So, but we did have a nice little defense of this double bottom area here on the Qs. I actually had the Q calls yesterday morning, so I actually had a really good win. Had it made 100% on Q calls off of this support. Similar situation, if you go down on your daily webs, that was my big trade of the day. It really helped versus my Apple trade. I I tried to do Apple, and I got that in the wrong place. Okay, so like I said, you got this massive volume distribution, and the reason I took the Q calls, you see this mass. We had a lot of volume right here. A much wide volume potential support. So that's why I took the Qs. I thought this structure was actually more supported than what I saw on the S&Ps. That's why I took the long off that support yesterday on the Qs. But we'll see how it plays out going forward here. But yeah, we had two demand areas, last week, and then Friday's highs became the new supply for the week. Okay, so let's be very mindful of some of this analysis that I've got here. But a lot of times you'll see this right here could be double top right there. This could be a rejection pattern. So we have to be mindful of that going forward here. Okay. Okay. And we still got this gap below us that could very well want to resolve, fill the gap, and then possibly take up higher. So we have to see how this plays out. Okay. Early on this morning, IWM is seemingly acting a little bit more supported. Okay, so be mindful of that based off the trends. That these could be traps. We do have a cash session gap we're right into this morning, which probably going to fill early here. And we do have a few point gap right up here at the highs as well that never did get filled. So let's be mindful of that. Okay, and then the big gap. And typically IWM gaps do get filled. So thinking that we're coming straight down, with this gap still here, you might be something you might want to be a little worried about here. Liberation Day low, we are above that. I don't remember if I got Liberation Day high on. Yeah, there you go. So that's where we're trading on the Russell here. Liberation Day low, Liberation Day high. We could very well be getting rotation into the Russell. Remember, or the Russell, that's the one you really want to trade on FOMC days. That's the one that really has the juice. And there could be a lot of juice to the upside here based off the pattern here. You see this double cross, and we're defending right above that. Yeah, this really gives me some signs there. This thing could have some legs. So let's be mindful of this, the way the pattern's setting up right here. Go to the market webs. I really wouldn't want to be short the Russell early on, to be perfectly honest. Okay, go over here on our weekly webs real quick. And we're also fighting that Sunday open. We're below the Sunday open. That's another thing on those other ones. Keep an eye on your Sunday opens, where price is in relation to that. Okay, but we're currently trading below the Sunday open, so that's another thing to think about here. But yeah, we have these three volume distributions here. Demand came in. This is pretty much one area. You can actually make it as almost as a singular demand. Okay, but there is a slight, and we came right down into it. We filled the gap. So there was a gap up here. We filled that gap. We completed that gap yesterday. Now we're gapping right back up. Okay, and so just be very mindful. We came down, we repaired the structure, and now we're just taking off right off that repair. Okay, so a lot of things sitting here saying that this is a fairly bullish structure to kick off the day. So just be very mindful of this. This is, like I said, the last one that I want to be shorting in today's session. So be very mindful of that, and we'll go from there. Okay. Okay, thanks a lot, guy. Oh, let me double check what's happening here on the volume wise. Anything standing out this morning? Let me see here. Let me check the futures real quick. 1 second. A couple things takeaways. VIX is getting hit. Gold, which is a defensive sector, it's getting hit this morning. Copper's getting hit this morning. So that is bullish. Risk on. Those are risk on indicators in the market on the futures. I don't know what that is. Nat gas futures got a little bit here. Ethereum's rebounding this morning. Bitcoin's rebounding this morning. They're not breaking out yet, though. Those are the big movers on the futures. Here's something you don't see very often. TNA. That's 3 times Russell is hitting the scans this morning. There's volume coming into this. Just like I just mentioned, Russell looks like it could have some legs this morning. Here it is, one of the top leaders in the free market. Something to think about, That's quite interesting. NVIDIA's right up into this resistance. Not something I want to trade. AMD reported last night, up a little bit after the earnings came out. Not much. Palantir down here, not really doing anything. It's right into what could be a demand zone. It's acting as resistance this morning. Early on, this looks like a resistance rejection for Palantir. Be very mindful here. This thing here is probably going to fail. So let's be mindful of that. Tesla is above. We broke out. We back tested already this morning. This is a bullish pattern. Heads up, bullish pattern. Pop potentially going higher here on Tesla today. Like this for a bullish continuation higher on Tesla. Um, some people have been, a lot of people have been getting long HIMS. Oh my goodness, look at HIMS. HIMS has just taken off to the moon this morning. I know a lot of traders own HIMS shares. I don't get it myself, but that's all right. SMCI is down a little bit this here. It's just dead money. Surprisingly, Bob is down after. You would think it would be up, but it's down even after the announcement of the talks. Okay, guys, so there you go. NVIDIA. Is there any of these others? Really light volumes down here. As further you come down, you get lighter volumes. Apple, I did try yesterday, and it was, yeah, there you go. See what happened here yesterday. My plan was to buy Apple. Yesterday morning, I bought Apple down here, hoping to come up above this resistance, back test it, and continue. I was trying to cheat and try to get a really good place to buy in because of the volume profile. Well, now we're doing exactly what I was wanting to do yesterday. We came up. Now we should be coming back down to do a back test on Apple. This is actually probably going to set up as a long in today's session on the back test. So let's keep an eye on this for somewhere through here, even down inside this orange area. We could come down into this, probably down to the 199 area, something like that. You wouldn't want it to go too far down. But my point is, you can bring her all, you don't want it to really come all the way down. But ideally, you want to see this support, this 199.80 to go long. So let's see if that does that today, going forward here. Okay, Apple is hitting my scan this morning, but I don't see any others hitting the morning scan. TZA. Google's way down here. It's really light volume. Taiwan Semi. I mentioned Taiwan Semi. I was worried about it because of the currency risk going on that. And so we came up into a massive put wall, and they rejected the past couple of days. And I actually had that video right when we were up into those highs. And we have come off that a little bit here. So heads up on that. And I'll just do Google real quick and call it quits. Google. Bottom line is Google, in my opinion. See how we just keep oscillating back and forth around that. I don't want to trade that. It's not acted as support. I don't want to be trading that. I want to find a better support area. This down here is a clear support. This right here is now, we got a double top early this morning. Yeah, I don't want to trade that at all. Early on this morning, Meta is rejecting 2-week supply. We wicked above it, and immediately it started rejecting. Google's actually still more constructive here. We're into that 2-week supply. We're back testing it. Okay, guys, MSTR setting up for a potential breakout. We're coming right into the supply. So this is a triple top of the supply area. This is resistance till it proves to be new support. So be very mindful of that. And then on the bearish side, I would very closely be watching Netflix as a potential failed pattern setting up here. So be very mindful of this going forward here. Bottom line is, we really want to lose. You really want to lose the 1127 area. Above that, you don't really want to be looking to the short side. But the 1127 is very, very critical going forward in today's session. So right here, right now, we'll see how it plays it out. But I'm really watching this. The MACD starting to cross over here on the 1 hour. It's giving me some warning signs here to be on the lookout for, at the very least, a back test and possibly a break as we break this trend line. Okay, so be very mindful of that going forward. Okay, thanks a lot, and I'll catch you later.